She wasn't just the pretty face in the background. She was the best friend everyone trusted, the shoulder to cry on, the girl who always smiled and said, "I'm happy for you." But behind her perfect smile was a dangerous secret. She wasn't happy for anyone. Not really. Madison Clark wasn't content watching her best friends fall in love. She wanted the same kind of love, even if it meant stealing it. When Elena started dating Jason, Madison smiled politely, but her heart burned with jealousy. A few soft touches and stolen glances later, Jason was hers. Elena's heartbreak, just a side effect. But that wasn't the end. Next came Brianna and her sweet, loyal boyfriend, Liam. Madison played the victim, acted fragile, and slipped into their lives like a shadow. But not every boy was so easy to steal, and not every friend forgives betrayal. As the lies grow deeper and the friendships begin to crumble, Madison must face a brutal truth. You can only take so much before karma takes you back. What happens when the girl who destroys others finally has to rebuild herself? A story of obsession, betrayal, heartbreak, and unexpected redemption. Stay tuned, because this one will leave you asking, can someone like her ever be forgiven? Madison Clark was the kind of girl everyone loved to have around. With her silky black hair, flawless skin, and perfectly polished smile, she was charming, helpful, and always said the right things at the right time. In high school, she was the one who cheered the loudest for her friends, brought cookies to sleepovers, and stayed up late texting to comfort anyone heartbroken. But behind the sweetness was a secret. Madison didn't just want love. She wanted what other girls had, especially if it belonged to her best friends. It all started in junior year at Hillcrest High. Madison had two best friends, Elena and Brianna. The trio had been inseparable since middle school, sharing everything from lockers to lip gloss to late-night secrets. But what Elena and Brianna didn't know was that Madison had been keeping score. Every compliment Elena got, every cute guy Brianna dated, Madison noticed. She smiled on the outside, but inside, a quiet jealousy burned. And when Elena started dating Jason, a tall, funny football player, Madison felt something crack inside her. Jason and Elena were adorable together. They held hands in the hallways, shared hoodies, and kissed behind the library after school. Elena confided in Madison about everything, how much she liked him, how he made her laugh, how he kissed her forehead when she was anxious. Madison listened like a good friend, but every word fueled her plan. "I'm so happy for you," Madison would say with a sweet smile. "You deserve him." But in her mind, she was already imagining Jason kissing her instead. It didn't take long for Madison to move in. It started small. Flirty jokes, touching his arm when she laughed, telling him secrets she hadn't told anyone else. Jason, being a typical teenage guy, responded. He was still loyal to Elena, but he noticed Madison. How she smelled like strawberries. How she laughed at all his jokes. How she looked at him like he was the only person in the room. One Friday night, after a football game, the group went out to celebrate. They ended up in someone's basement, music blasting, people dancing, soda and chips scattered across the couch. Elena had gone upstairs to take a call. Madison saw her moment. She sat beside Jason, closer than usual. "You and Elena look happy," she said softly. "Yeah," Jason replied. "She's amazing." Madison leaned in slightly, lowering her voice. "But sometimes, don't you wonder if it's too perfect?" Jason blinked. "What do you mean?" Madison smiled. "Never mind." But the seed was planted, and she watered it every chance she got. 2 weeks later, Jason and Elena broke up. Elena was crushed. She cried in Madison's arms, heartbroken, confused. He said he needed space. Elena sobbed. That it felt rushed. Madison rubbed her back, whispering, "I'm here for you." 3 days later, Jason and Madison were spotted talking outside the gym. Too close. Too friendly. Elena noticed. So did Brianna. The next week, Madison posted a picture on Instagram. It was subtle, just her and Jason laughing at a coffee shop. No caption. But the message was loud and clear. Elena unfollowed her the same night. "Don't you feel bad?" Brianna asked Madison privately. Madison shrugged. "Things happen. I didn't plan it, but she had. Every second of it." And now that Elena was gone, Brianna was the only best friend left. And Brianna had a boyfriend, too. Liam. Funny, loyal, and completely in love with her. Which made him irresistible to Madison. Best friend or backstabber. Brianna had always been the sweetest of the trio. While Elena was bold and ambitious, Brianna was the nurturing one, the girl who remembered birthdays, baked cookies from scratch, and cried during sad movies. She and Liam had been together for nearly a year. Everyone thought they'd last beyond high school. Even Madison had to admit, at least to herself, that they were a good couple. But good wasn't enough for Madison. She wanted better. She wanted Liam. Madison started slow, like she always did. It began with compliments. "Wow, Brianna's so lucky. You're like the perfect boyfriend." Then the shared laughter. "Oh my God, Liam, you're hilarious. Seriously, you could be on TV." Then the fake vulnerability. "Sometimes I wish I had someone like you. Not for anything weird, just someone kind." Liam, who always tried to make people feel included, didn't think much of it. He smiled and moved on. But Madison wasn't playing for smiles. She was planting temptation. One weekend, the group went on a double date to the movies. Brianna and Liam, Madison, and her newest fling, a guy she met online named Kyle who barely talked and checked his phone the whole night. During the movie, Madison accidentally brushed her leg against Liam's. Once. Twice. She whispered a soft, "sorry," and leaned away, but only a little. Brianna didn't notice. But Kyle did. He raised an eyebrow at Madison later. "You sure you're not into your friend's guy?" Madison's smile vanished. "Are you accusing me of something?" "I'm just saying," Kyle muttered. "You're not as subtle as you think." She dumped him the next day. Soon, Brianna started to feel it. Liam seemed more distant. He laughed more at Madison's jokes. He texted her when Brianna wasn't around, just as friends. Brianna didn't want to believe it. Not after what had happened with Elena. Not after the fallout. But the feeling gnawed at her. One night, she confronted Liam. "Do you like Madison?" Liam looked shocked. "What? No. I mean, she's cool, but no. I love you. You text her more than me lately. She's going through stuff." "I'm just being nice." "Don't be too nice," Brianna whispered. Liam promised to create distance. But the damage was done. Meanwhile, Madison was getting frustrated. Liam wasn't falling fast enough. So she changed tactics. One rainy afternoon, Madison called Liam in tears. "I'm sorry," she cried on the phone. "I didn't know who else to call. My dad yelled at me. I just feel so alone." Liam, being the kind-hearted guy he was, came to her house. They sat in her living room. She looked broken, vulnerable. He handed her tissues and told her everything would be okay. That's when she kissed him. Just a quick, desperate kiss. He pulled away immediately. "Madison, no." She pretended to be embarrassed, humiliated. "I'm sorry. I thought maybe you felt something too." "I don't," he said, standing up. I love Brianna. Please, don't do this. She stared at him, tears in her eyes. But deep down, anger bubbled. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. The next day, Liam told Brianna everything. I think Madison needs help, he said. She kissed me. Brianna's heart cracked. She wanted to scream, to cry, to call Madison and ask why. But instead, she texted her. We need to talk. The three girls met at a quiet park that weekend. Brianna stood there with folded arms. Madison showed up pretending to be confused. What's wrong? You kissed Liam, Brianna said directly. Madison's eyes widened. He told you that. He told me the truth. Did you? I was vulnerable. He came over. It meant nothing. You kissed my boyfriend, Madison. You did the same thing to Elena. Madison's jaw tensed. That was different. No, said a voice behind them. It was Elena. She'd been watching from a distance. And now she stepped forward, her face calm but cold. It's exactly the same. Exposed and alone, Madison stood frozen, facing both Elena and Brianna. Her perfectly rehearsed excuses died on her lips. This wasn't supposed to happen, not like this. You planned all of this, Elena said sharply. Jason told me how you flirted with him behind my back. And now you tried it with Liam. Madison's voice wavered. You're twisting everything. I was just lost. Lost people don't kiss their best friend's boyfriend, Brianna replied, her voice shaking with both hurt and fury. You didn't care about my feelings. Or Elena's. You only cared about taking what wasn't yours. Madison looked between them. The guilt flickered behind her eyes, but only for a second before it vanished under something colder. You think I wanted this? She snapped. Do you know what it's like to always be second? To watch people like you two get everything? The cute boys. The attention. The praise. I was just the sidekick. The background character in your perfect little love stories. Elena stepped closer. You were never the background. You were our best friend. You don't get it, Madison hissed. People only notice you when you have something they want. And I learned that the hard way. Brianna shook her head. So instead of finding your own path, you destroyed ours. I didn't destroy anything, Madison whispered. I just wanted to feel what it was like to be chosen. A heavy silence hung in the air. Then, quietly, Elena said, You chose this. Not us. The confrontation went viral. Someone nearby had filmed the final part of the argument and posted it on social media. Within hours, the video spread around school. Everyone knew. The likes, shares, and comment sections exploded. Damn, not her stealing two besties' boyfriends. That's next level betrayal. I knew something was off about her fake nice energy. Poor Brianna and Elena. They deserved better. By Monday, Madison's world had shifted completely. No more smiles in the hallway. No more compliments on her outfit. Her name whispered in every class, but never to her face. She had become the villain. She sat alone at lunch. The empty chair beside her used to be Brianna's. The one across from her, Elena's. Now they were seated far away, laughing softly with new friends. Rebuilding. Madison looked down at her tray untouched. For once, she had no one to perform for. No secrets to hide. And it was terrifying. At home, things weren't much better. Her parents had seen the video. Her mother said, You've embarrassed this family. Her father simply shook his head in disappointment. She slammed the door to her room that night and screamed into her pillow. How had everything slipped out of her control? All she had ever wanted was love, attention, someone to put her first. And now she was completely alone. Later that night, She scrolled through her old texts, messages from Jason, from Liam, from Elena and Brianna, back when they trusted her. Back when her lies hadn't caught up to her. She paused on one message from Brianna, dated months earlier. "I'm so glad we're best friends. I don't know what I'd do without you." Tears welled in Madison's eyes. Because deep down, she knew they had truly loved her. She just didn't love herself enough to believe she was enough on her own. But Madison wasn't the kind of girl to disappear quietly. And her story wasn't over yet. Redemption or revenge. 3 weeks passed. Madison Clark walked the halls of Hillcrest High like a ghost. Where once there had been admiration, smiles, and attention, there was now silence. She wasn't bullied, just ignored. And that hurt more. The worst part, she missed her friends. She missed Brianna's gentle laughter and Elena's honest advice. She missed being part of something real. But most of all, she missed the version of herself who hadn't ruined everything. Her grades started slipping. She stopped posting on Instagram. She skipped the pep rally, the talent show, and Brianna's birthday party, even though she sat outside the cafe across the street, watching the celebration through the window like a stranger. Everyone moved on. Except her. Then one day, while organizing old boxes in the guidance counselor's office for extra credit, Madison found something surprising, a faded journal with a note taped inside the front cover. For the girl who's lost herself. Find her again. Anonymous student, class of 22. Curious, Madison flipped through it. Inside were letters from students over the years, stories of regret, healing, and hope. It was like a secret confession booth on paper. One entry caught her attention. "I hurt people I loved. Thought I'd never get a second chance. But healing starts when you own the damage. Even if they never forgive you, at least you won't hate yourself anymore." Something inside Madison cracked open. That night, she wrote 2 letters. One to Elena, one to Brianna. She poured her heart out, every reason, every insecurity, every ugly truth she had tried to hide. She didn't beg for friendship. She didn't make excuses. She just told the truth, and she slipped them into their lockers the next morning. Days passed. No response. Then, a week later, Brianna approached her after school. "I read your letter," she said softly. Madison looked down, unsure what to say. "I'm not ready to be friends again," Brianna continued. "But I do appreciate the honesty." That took courage. Madison nodded, her voice catching. "Thank you for reading it. I hope you mean what you wrote. And I hope you find peace with yourself." Then she walked away. And even though it wasn't forgiveness, it was something. It was hope. But just when Madison thought things were slowly healing, an anonymous account popped up on Instagram. At Heartbreaker Files. It posted screenshots of old flirty messages Madison had sent to Jason, Liam, and even a few other guys she barely remembered. Edited to look worse. To humiliate. The caption read, "She's back. And she hasn't changed." Within hours, the post went viral at school. Again. Madison was mortified. She hadn't sent those messages recently. Some were from over a year ago. But the damage was done. She confronted a few students, but no one admitted anything. Then a voice came from behind her in the hallway.
"You made enemies, Mads. Some don't want you forgiven." It was Logan, Eleanor's cousin. He had always stayed neutral. "But I thought it was over," she said weakly. Logan shrugged. "It's high school. Forgiveness has a long wait list." That night, Madison sat in her room staring at the ceiling. She had been trying to change. Trying to become someone better. But maybe she was already too far gone. Then a knock on her window startled her. She pulled back the curtain, and there stood Alina. Madison rushed to open it. "What are you? Get in. I'm driving you somewhere." Too stunned to argue, Madison grabbed her coat and followed her. They drove in silence for 10 minutes before Alina parked at the lake. "I saw the Instagram post," Alina said. "I know you didn't post those texts recently." Madison looked at her, surprised. "You believe me?" "I do now." Madison blinked, tears swelling. "Why?" "Because the girl I watched cry in that hallway wasn't faking anymore." They sat in silence, the water calm before them. "You hurt me, Madison," Alina said. "You broke a trust that took years to build. But I also know you're not the same girl anymore." Madison wiped her eyes. "I want to be someone better." Alina smiled slightly. "Then prove it." "Not to me." "To yourself." For the first time in a long time, Madison smiled back. Not out of manipulation, but because she meant it. A new beginning. The morning after her drive with Alina, Madison woke up feeling something she hadn't felt in a long time: peace. It wasn't full forgiveness, and the world hadn't magically accepted her again, but a tiny part of her heart felt lighter. Eleanor's words echoed in her mind. "Prove it. Not to me. To yourself." So she did. She stopped trying to be the center of attention. She stopped forcing conversations. She focused on school, kept her head down, and joined the school's peer mentoring program, not for the spotlight, but because she actually wanted to help someone else avoid becoming what she did. She spoke to freshmen who felt invisible. She encouraged a shy girl to audition for the school play. She helped tutor a sophomore who was falling behind in math. And slowly, quietly, people began to notice. Then one day, while grabbing her books from her locker, Logan approached her again. "We found out who ran the Heartbreaker Files account," he said. Madison blinked. "What? Who?" He held up his phone and showed her the screen. It was a selfie of Savannah Green, a girl from the cheer squad. Madison's jaw dropped. "Savannah? But why?" Logan shrugged. "You once dated a guy she liked. Briefly. She never got over it. She thought exposing your past would be revenge." Madison shook her head. "All this, because of that." Logan smirked. "High school drama goes deeper than anyone realizes." Later that day, Savannah was called to the principal's office. The account was deactivated, and a school-wide message was sent warning against cyberbullying and digital harassment. Madison didn't smile in triumph. She didn't gloat. She just closed her locker and walked away. Because finally, she was done with the games. A week later, Brianna approached her during lunch. For the first time since the betrayal, she sat beside her. "I heard about Savannah," she said. "Yeah," Madison replied quietly. "I didn't see that coming." Brianna looked at her for a long moment. "I also heard you've been helping kids after school." "Alina told me." Madison nodded. "I'm just trying to be better." Brianna smiled faintly. "You're getting there." Madison's throat tightened. "Bri, I know I hurt you." "You did," Brianna said. "But we were best friends once. And I don't forget love that easily." Madison blinked away tears. "Does this mean?" "It means you're not alone anymore." They hugged, soft, hesitant, but real. And for Madison, it felt like the first true thing in a long, long time. That night, she opened her old journal and wrote a final entry. "I broke people. I broke myself. But I'm learning how to rebuild, slowly, one choice at a time. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be real." She closed the book and smiled. Tomorrow wasn't promised, but it would be hers to face, honestly. Outro. She wanted love, but chased it the wrong way. She wanted to be seen, but wore the wrong mask. In the end, What saved Madison wasn't revenge, popularity, or romance. It was truth, growth, and forgiveness. If this emotional journey moved you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Color of Stories for more unforgettable tales about friendship, love, betrayal, and redemption